So we're gonna do a little bit of comic talk. Hopefully everybody enjoys comics too. You know, you never know if they do or they don't.
But don't worry, we're still
Can we see
themed.
this? Can we see this?
Yeah.
Hey, Super Metro.
Yeah, we got it.
Perfect. So here we go. The first one we're going to be talking about. Everybody, should we talk? Nope. These are not C-list books. These are all big books. You know, I mean, you got the previews and you got the Mario Brothers one and Zelda one. Those are already been covered. What we're going to cover is the series Captain and the Game Master, because you know, I mean, hey, nothing says comics like a comic book TV show about video games, about a character that didn't show up in the games, but somehow has got the gun and everything else. Now, for a lot of people, this was also very groundbreaking because they revealed that Samus was a woman in number 1. She took off her helmet, and she became a love interest for Captain N.
For all of us that never got to be able to finish the actual Metroid game to find that out, because we were still struggling along our way, this was groundbreaking.
This is where I think a lot of people got it from, because they didn't actually, you know, there's no interwebs. It was really interesting, though. They do a lot of different storylines in this broken up, and they'd have different artists do different examples. They had the Mother Brain. She was terrible looking in here. They would have like King Hippo and like the Eggplant guy, and they had a bunch of other baddies. You got the one thing that was weird about this was you couldn't use, so like in the TV show they had like the Capcom characters like you know, the blue guy, this guy,
blue guy,
Mega Man.
Oh,
couldn't use Mega Man and stuff, so they had to get rid of him. Captain Masters 2, as you can see, that's where they broke through. They had a lot of the villains in there. 3 is very interesting. So all these books are I mean, you know, like some of them, you can get them in different ranges. You can get them anywhere from $5 to like $50, depending on condition too. But in this one, 3 is pretty pricey. You know, 1 and 3 probably are the priciest of the series.
What's up with 3?
3 is the Joe Q. It's Joe Q's first art. Video Town,
really?
which Video Town, which
I like collecting art. I like artists first like that. You know, like Jim Lee's Samurai Santa type deals. And
it's only 1 page, by the way. So like, because they have all these different storylines. Like you get 4 or 5 storylines throughout this. Then in number 4, you go back the no Q art, but you've got the evil Captain N, which was like a clone. So they're doing one of those things. Then you get like this makeout session in 5 with what's her name's the chick from Metroid.
Samus?
Yeah, Samus. And in the bad version of him, because he still got it. I like the cover too, where he's got like the controller from the Duck Hunter gun sitting there.
The other guys had like a little pimp style sitting on that throne, just kind of.
Well, yeah, because he's got like the bad attitude, and they play her in this one as like a chick that's kind of like got a bad attitude, and she goes back and forth and does a bunch of different stuff. Anyways, pretty cool to get books. There is in the back of 5. There's a preview for 6, and it says that 6 is coming, and actually Mega Man is coming to the number 6. But as you know, because I've already told you, there's no Mega Man in this series, and there was actually no 6. They never actually came out with Captain N and the Game Master 6. Now, there's a lot of places, a lot of sites that says there is a 6, but no, it was just based off the preview on the back of 5 and the letter section. There isn't a 6. Now, these are interesting. You have a question?
Oh no! I just go with the preview showing a book that never actually arrived.
Yeah, it says in the back that it's never been put. Speaking of in previews, you actually see the book on the left with a white cover. That was in that yellow preview that everybody loves. It's actually pretty expensive, so we didn't cover that. But it's an interesting book. You know, we had filled out these slides a couple days ago, and it just so happened that a friend of the show and a friend of Pete's, guy by the name of Topher, came out with an article today, and Pete let me know about it a couple hours ago how he brought up this. It's a trade paperback. He brought this up and said, you know, it's got a collective of stories, and it does. Both of these do. This is number 1 and number 2, and there was actually a yellow one for $4.99, 2 of number 1. But it's a collection of stories. It has the ISSN number on the back, and we'll show you it later. And we'll kind of go through what's kind of in it. And it's a collection, even in the description from Valiant, from the original solicitation, it's a collection of the stories. Some of them had already been shown on a stage before in big panels that they reduced down. Other times they were books that had come out in the same month But one book actually had come out before, and some of the panels had already been in the preview for the preview. One of the stories actually had. This does
being this book was kind of a preview like trade in and of itself.
Yeah, or magazine. They actually referred to it. Yeah. They called it later on a trade, but when it originally came out, they actually called it a magazine. It's got a harder comic shell to it, but there's actually a little bit more interesting story to how this book first came out.
Because there's $10 too. It's not cheap.
Well, one was $10. This is actually not the first printing of this. The first printing of this doesn't have a price on it, gotcha. And I'll tell you why in a minute. And the other one came out a couple months. Like this came out like within months of each other with the $2.99, the $1.09. Inside though, you do get this, and you can call it what you want, a cameo, or you can call it whatever it is, but this is on the inside of it, and you do get to see
preview, first image.
Because it was just like 2 pages of the Videoland book or storyline, but it's got Samus in there, and she is supposedly she's on this TV screen in the background. There is another one where there's a portion of her down at the bottom, because these are the 2 pages. This is as you can see the arc. This was taken today out of this trade paperback or / magazine. And there it is. So you guys can decide for yourself. It's worth getting. I mean, they go for $50 or under, depending on condition. It's very hard because of the black, as you can see.
Black
yeah.
color.
So here's the background on the right of one of them. As you can see, the black covers are usually messed up. And down in the left corner, you see the ISSN number, which wasn't, that's assigned to stuff such as like trades, journals, magazines.
Bookstore.
It's not something, bookstore stuff. That's not something you get on a comic book per se. And if you look at the left, actually, though, this is actually how it was first given out. Back in April, which would be right before that, that's when they would combine this with the harder copy of the Super Mario Brothers #1, the cardstock, and you get in a 2-pack, and there'd be no price in it. So it was kind of a preview, so that you'd get the first one, and then you get the second one, and the Nintendo Comic Systems, whatever you want to call it. They called it preview guide sometimes they didn't, but whatever. The #1 of that, and then you know what to buy, because it actually had a bunch of order. It was really like there's a lot of ordering, like order all 12 issues, order all the #1s, order all the #3s, and some of the books that were in the black trade paperback are actually like, there's 2 stories that are in the Super Mario's #1 book that came out at the same time. And a lot of the other books have been printed too. This is also one that's really cool to go after. It's kind of hard because this system's preview thing wasn't the only one they did. Like I said, there's 2 trade paperbacks that they did. There's technically 4 because there's 2 covers for each one and #2. But even more interesting, is that too much?
There's also that weird idea though. Remember when you used to subscribe to comics? Like you can actually mail away and just one-on-one. I'm subscribing to whatever. Like
that's what the subscriber pages were. Yeah, so they didn't. The actual Game Boy. It's funny because the ones that they had already printed and done were in this book. Like Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, the first series, the one you see there, Captain N, Captain N, and I can't remember what the third one was. I think there was 4 books that you could get. Zelda, Captain N, no. Super Mario Bros. 3, yeah. So pretty much those 3, you could order the full runs, and they actually had the covers and whatever you were going to get. Where they didn't have the Game Boy cover, which would be the 4th installment of stuff. And here now they kind of do. They have to punch out the game, but punch out wasn't a thing. So,
but then they have these stupid things. One of my LCSs near me had the Zelda and the Mario book you showed at the outset. Like those are the
Oh yeah. I got.
They had them, and they weren't that expensive. I was like, you know what? I should buy them. I'm like.
It picked up in price. I mean, I think people like it. And you could still get some like 3 through 4 pretty good. I just didn't want to cover the whole thing. This, however, is a hardcover. There's 2 versions of this too. If you see this, definitely grab it. And it's kind of similar to the TPB, right? It's almost identical, same storylines. One other book that I wanted to in the comic system say that's pretty inexpensive. I don't know why, because it's got Punch Out this month in it, and it has Dr. Mario's first cover appearance. I mean, like...
I just remember the stupid commercial for Dr. Mario.
All the time, dude. All the time. Which is just like a Tetris-type game. But that's also, the pink's hard to get. Even in this copy, you can see over in the edge, there's a lot of damage on it. It's a brilliant, like, fuchsia-type pink on it. A couple $, here, you can get it, a couple $, there. One you might want to look out for. And that's kind of it.